Hi, this is Denise with Paper Crafty, and this is part 4 of the how-to make the honeybee and lavender folio. The folio itself is complete. This is the final product, and I'll link the other 3 videos showing how we made this. And now I'm just going to make a few of the inserts that I made that I used in the original folio. And I've decided I'm going to show you how to make these 3 tags because they're a little bit more unique than the others. So before I get into that though, I want to show you the kit that I used for this folio and the inserts. This is the Honeybee and Lavender kit by Cara Creations. This is the cover page. This is one of the journal pages. This is another journal page. This is a line journal page. And you can see this area here is what I used to make the journaling spot on the folio. This is another journaling page. Here's another journal page, and that's what I used to make this top part of the folio. Here's another journal page. And there's 11 journal pages in total, so 10 journal pages plus the cover page. These are so beautiful. She did such an amazing job on this kit. I absolutely adore it. So those are all the journal pages, and plus you have a whole bunch of ephemera pages. There's this collage sheet, which I adore and I used a lot. This vellum was printed from the collage page. There's these background pages. This is just kind of a floral background. And then a lavender colored background with the hive hexagon shapes on there. Here's the hexagon shapes with bees. And these make great backgrounds for the tags. The back side of the tags for journaling. Even though this isn't lined, this gives you some really nice structure for journaling. And then this one, which is super cute. Okay, and then we have several tags, several tag pages. Actually, I think 3 tag pages. Yep, 3 tag pages. And we'll be using this tag page today and this tag page. And I printed this one on cardstock and on vellum. And then we have some ephemera pages. I'm going to be using this ephemera page for this little ticket and the bee. Have this ephemera page. This ephemera page. Oh, and I already did the collage sheet, but it's worth mentioning a second time because it's just absolutely gorgeous. In addition, Cara gave on her Facebook group, she gave a Friday freebie, which coordinates with this kit, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love this little specimen slide, and I had been looking for some stamps that said specimen, so I'm really happy that she has some tags here that do that. Okay, so like I said, for today's project, I printed the tags, these smaller tags, on vellum, as well as cardstock. And the cardstock I use is this HP heavyweight project paper. It's 40 pound. My printer does not handle heavy duty cardstock very well. It just won't feed. So it's not that it won't handle it very well, it doesn't handle it at all. So I use that, and that's what I used for the sample tags that I made. And on these tags, I actually printed them double side. I printed just another random page on the back. You can see this one is the large B that I printed on the back of that one, and this one was the lined paper that I printed on the back of this one. Now, these are great and they work fine, but they're a little bit thinner than I would like, so I decided to just print them one-sided this time and layer them up with some other pattern paper in the back in cardstock weight. This is the other ticket tag sheet that I printed out that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be making these two tags right here. And here's some of the pattern paper on cardstock that I printed to use as backing for this these tags. So these are going to be double the weight, so 80 pound, I guess, when I'm done. Okay, so like I said, I'm making these 3 tags. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those out, and I'll do that off camera. Okay, so I'm back. So I cut out these 2 larger tags and this smaller tag out of the vellum with the bees on it, same as this one basically. And this is the smaller tag out of that. I realized that I must have resized this smaller tag and made it slightly larger than normal so that this vellum was offset a little bit. So I did the same thing with this one. I just resized it so that the tags didn't go over the size of the page, but it went to the very boundaries of you know, where it could fit onto the page and still print all of the tags out. So, and then I printed all of these single-sided, and I backed them with some other paper for journaling on the back, various papers for journaling. And let's see. I'm going to cut that little tag out, that one right there. And these little bumblebees, I just put some scrap paper on the back to reinforce it, make it a little thicker, and provide a back that is you know, pretty. I'm gonna make this little tag right here. So just going to use this circle punch. Just more or less like that. And then it has the paper on the back. And I'm gonna edge, first I'm gonna, for this one I made this into so that this tag looks like a ticket, or this ticket looks like a ticket with the edges that are like this. And I'm just using the circle, the hole punch to make that kind of edge like that. Okay. For this one, I'm just going to edge it in black. Be careful not to touch the black too much because it's easy to get it on your thumb and then get a thumbprint of black. So I'm gonna try not to mess with it too much. And again, I'm just using the side of the ink pad, not the flat portion that you actually stamp with. And I'm doing that because it has a tendency to chew up the ink pad, the felt portion, and then it doesn't stamp evenly when you go to use stamps with it. Okay, and then let's see, what else do I need to do? Let's see, I used some of the scraps right here to stamp these images. So these circles right here and that. And unfortunately, I keep my stamps, I take them out of their original packaging, so I'm not sure what brand this is, unfortunately. So I can't share that with you. And this stamp as well, this is the stamp that I used on this. Good even coverage with that. And I like to just do a row of these, and you'll see why shortly. They're just a lot easier to cut out this way. I really love this stamp because you can turn any paper that you have into a ticket. And I just love using tickets. I use them on everything. So this is definitely one of my favorite stamps that I just rediscovered in my stash. So super excited about that. Okay. And then I take this, I have this cutter from EK Success. One side's just a regular trimmer tool, and this one is a slotted one. And I just use my ruler. Normally I'd let these dry a little bit more. Try not to smear them. I'm just using that 1/8 inch of a mark. I'm lining this up along, at the 1/8 inch, I'm lining that line up along the line. And then I'm just taking this and I'm pressing down hard. And I'm tearing it off. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. All right, this one is going to be a little closer because it's not as much room. Ah. All right. And I'll just tear that off. And that kind of gives that little bit of a perforated edge look for the tickets. And I could do this one a little closer if I wanted. I may do that. It doesn't really matter because, you know, if you've ever looked at the tickets you buy on a roll, they are far from perfect. they're printed all misaligned and all sorts of stuff. So, you know, these are not 100% even. It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna take that little perforated edge off. Then I take my long scissors and I try to get the smooth edge, not the perforated edge on these. And then just, you know, I like these long scissors because it's really easy to kind of get, you know, a single straight line. Ooh, that was really off. Well, it is when I can turn it up toward me. It's hard to do this on the camera. Okay. And then I take, again, this 1/4 inch circle punch, and I just put the very tip in there like that. And I cut the tip off. And that kind of gives you a ticket effect. This is a 1-inch circle punch? I think this is a 1-inch circle punch. So yeah, I think it's 1 inch. Yeah, it's 1 inch circle punch. So this works out perfectly for these. And just going to take, and I need 2 of these. One and 2. Okay, I'm gonna put my extras off to the side. All right, I don't think I need my circle punch anymore. And I'm gonna do the same thing with these. I believe with these I just use the black ink to go around them again. Most of these I'm going to use a 3-step process of distressing with the mustard seed, distress oxide, and then the gathered twigs, distressed oxide, and then finally edging with the archival. Okay, so I went ahead and inked everything up front and back, and just outlined the vellum in the black, just in the archival black, and all of these I just outlined in black. All the rest of these had the 3-step process. Okay, so let's see, the next step for these. Oh, there was one other piece. For this one I did a You Are My Sunshine, and this was a Heidi swap. It's a really old stamp set, and it has these labels that are part of it. So I just used one of the labels. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this one. Or maybe that one. Maybe I'll use that one instead. And just gonna ink that up. And I want it to go over the edge, so I'm gonna try to do it more to the right side than the left. Go straight down, rock it slightly, and it turns out really pretty. It's just a really pretty stamp. Okay, and this one's adhesive, so I'm just gonna put it there, and I'm gonna ink that up as well. All right, the very first thing that I did was I took one of these and I just fold it in half. Used glue stick. And then just adhered it over the top of the tag like that. I just eyeballed it, got it more or less centered. And then edge that in black again. Okay. And then I you can see where I used some embossing powder in gold in 2 places. So I'm gonna take my, this is the powder that keeps the embossing powder from adhering to everything. This way it'll only adhere to what you want it to adhere to. And I'm using Versamark. That's the only one that I did any embossing with, okay? And I used this Prima background stamp, kind of a mini background stamp. And let's see, I tried tried not to get it too perfect. I'm just gonna do it lightly. And then just kind of stamp it like that. Don't want it to be perfect. And I'm using Ranger Queen's Gold embossing powder. Okay. I just love it when it heats up. It's like magic. Okay, and then I also used this Tim Holtz, what's this one called? I'm not sure what this stamp is called. It's not labeled, but anyway, I used this figure 1, 2, 3. And it's more or less right here. Okay. Great. I might actually do this a little bit more. Maybe like, see if that works. Okay. Okay, and I just kind of liberally put it on, tap off the excess. Okay, yeah, I like the way that looks. Okay, so I put a little bit of this black mesh right there, and then kind of like right there. More or less. Okay, I didn't have it go quite that far down. So maybe like that more. There we go, kind of like that. All right. And then I put this trim kind of right here. So let's see, I have about, it's right there. I like this trim. It has this tulle over this gathered ribbon, but this tulle's way too long. So I'm cutting it, I'm just trimming it so that it's maybe, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch wide. That's what I call it. The black mesh is actually from our Christmas ham. So I'm gonna be really bummed when I go through all of this because I really like the way it looks on projects. Yeah, so that's going to be kind of a bummer when I go through this. So I'm going to definitely have to get more ham if I see it on ham again. So I'm just adhering this with Fabri-Tac, this trim, and I'm going to take this little circle from the stamp that I did. And I'm gonna cut it in half. And adhere that. And I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac on this as well, just because I am adhering it over the black mesh. I wanna make sure it stays down. And some of these tighter areas, I like using my tweezers to kind of get things in there. And that way I don't get stuff all over my fingers either. Okay, so this was more or less right in here. Okay, sorry about that. So I removed this sticker from here because I realized that I sewed around the border before I adhered this, but essentially this will be like that. And I'll probably take my little scissors and just, you know, cut off some of these little cross things so this doesn't look quite so uniform. Give it a little bit more ragged look, but I'll do that after I adhere it, so I don't need to do that right this second. And I also sewed right down the center of this trim with a little bit of zigzag and straight stitch. And when I was done, completely done, I adhered one of these metal bees to the trim. This had a clip like this one did, and it went that direction. I had actually just intended to put it on there, but this little bee actually came off as I was trying to take this off of the packaging. So I was like, all right, I guess that's meant to be. So I just glued it on there with some Fabri-Tac. Another good option would be E6000 glue. And I literally just got these at Joann's, these little bee hairpins, and just used a coupon on them. So they weren't too terribly expensive. And you know, so they should be available. It's February of 2021. So if you're watching this video and you want to do this exact same tag, you can probably find these right away. All right, so I'm gonna put this to the side. You know, it needs to be sewn around the edges. But other than that, I'm done with that one. I'm gonna get this one prepped. I just used some of this fabric trim. I can't remember if I got this one at Joann's or Hobby Lobby, maybe even Michael's. I'm not entirely sure. But I just kind of measured it more or less. I'd say 1, 2, 3. Just cut it like that. And then I glued this on here with Fabri-Tac. More or less centered like that. I did it pretty low. This one. I wanted to put the glue down away from this upper edge so that I didn't have to sew over the glued edge. And then I took this to my sewing machine and I sewed all around the perimeter, and I sewed this trim onto this. I sewed it from the front side, which would be this side. This is the front side. Okay, yeah, I sewed on this side. And then when I was done with the with sewing, then I took some more of the, so this is the black trim. This was the ham that I got at Costco. I love this stuff. It's fabulous. It works great. But like I said, I'm kind of running low on it. So I'm gonna be disappointed when this is completely gone. So I just took some of this and kind of stretched it out so that it so after this was sewn, I just put some of this on here and then layered up this little tag over the top, and then put one of these over that. And then I took some butterflies from this Field Notes ephemera pack from Tim Holtz. I couldn't find any of the small ones like I did for that. I might have had the smaller thing of Field Notes ephemera somewhere, but I just added a butterfly here. This one would be fine too. It's kind of large. I tried to find ones that had orange, a little bit of orange in it. And that would look good too. That smaller half butterfly. So anyway, so that's how I did that. After I sewed, I layered these things on top. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew this. But I wanted to show you first how I went ahead and assembled this. For this last tag, this one's pretty simple. Like I said, I realized that, so I printed the sheet of tags twice, sheet of tags from Cara Brandon. And I realized that I printed it in this size, and then I just kind of, enlarged it a little bit and then printed it again. So I think the regular size I printed on vellum, and then I enlarged it a little bit and I printed it on cardstock. So you can see that they're a little bit offset. So this one's a little bit smaller than the other, and I like that look. And then I just added a eyelet to this. All right, so this is a 3/16 eyelet, and you can see that there's a eyelet kind of drawn on here. So I kind of, did it as close to the top as I could to kind of hide that. But I didn't want to go over the edge. I didn't, I wanted it to still be fully on the vellum. So yeah, kind of like that. And I just use this drawn eyelet as a guide. Make a hole. Make sure this is on the right eyelet settings. This is the bigger eyelets, so I had it switch to the smaller 1/8 inch eyelets. So I wanted to make sure I had the settings right for the larger eyelets. I use the smaller ones more frequently, so. These eyelets might even be a little bit bigger than 3/16 of an inch. Pretty tight fit. I didn't have the packaging for this particular one, these particular eyelets, but they have this fancy backing. Why don't I just do that? There it goes. This fancy backing that goes like, I think it goes like that. So that kind of looks more finished when you're done. Try it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this on the tag first to make sure that that's exactly the way it's supposed to be, so that if I mess it up, I have an extra. And this is pretty much what I did initially. I think it goes like that. So just put it on there, squeeze, and yeah, both sides look nice. They both have that finished edge. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna do that on this. It's kind of useful that it's so snug in there because it can kind of hold itself. All right, wow. Yeah, that looks nice with both edges being finished. Yeah, I don't often use both sides like that, but I might have to start doing that more often. I like the way that looks. Okay. All right, so I adhered the brad or the eyelet before I sewed around it, which probably I shouldn't have done, but that's what I did. So I'm just, you know, truth in advertising. I'm showing you what I actually did. So I'm gonna, I'll just go ahead and I'll sew around the edge. And I already showed you how I added the eyelet to this. And then, Kitty's knocked over. Okay, so the kitties knocked this on the ground. They like to play with my stuff at night. So I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it's just some gold, I don't know, chicken wiring type of stuff. You can use scissors to cut this, but I have these little wire cutters for jewelry making, and that works really well too. So just take and cut this. And this was over in the trim section, so near the ribbon and whatnot. And this, I just, kind of, I've too many on this. There's 4. So I just trimmed this up kind of like this. You got rid of these extra pieces. Okay, actually it doesn't even look like I kept this last one. I just got rid of that too. Okay. So yeah, so more or less like that. And then I just put this little safety pin, you know, the Tim Holtz ones, and I layered it up like that. And then, oh, actually I put it on top like that, and then I went through like that. And that's how I attached that. Okay, so it's just like, oh, why is this not attaching? So it's just like that, okay? But I went to before I attached this, I went to the sewing machine and I sewed around the edge of the tag. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this, okay, over here with this sticker. I need to sew around this tag. One thing I forgot to add, that when I go to sew this one, this tag, this is a shaker tag, and there's little bits of hexagon shaped glitter inside of there. So what I do when I'm at my sewing machine is I have this sparkle glitter. It's probably a lifetime supply of this stuff. It's just this hexagon glitter. I don't even remember where I got this. Yeah, I have no idea where I got this. Sorry, apologies. But I just, when I'm sewing, what I do is I just take, the way I did this is I went up against the edge of the tag here, put my presser foot down, went as close as I could to the to the eyelet, did a straight stitch, turned it, did a straight stitch, you know, kind of mixed up the zigzag stitch with the straight stitch all the way around to here, pretty much. And then I kind of went back and ended it. And then, so most of this was stitched. Just this section here wasn't stitched. And then I just, you know, opened it up, you know, poured in some glitter, you know, as much as I wanted. I was pretty liberal in this one with glitter. And then just finished up the stitching. You know, just did a reinforced stitch all the way around. And I think with this one, I ended up cutting the bottom off so that it was even all the way around. And then at the end, and then redid the inking, you know, on the bottom with the black. Okay, so that's what I did with that one. And I might do something similar with these little honey pots that I had cut out of the cardstock. I really like them. They're super cute. And I have some Now I can't find it. So I have some, there we go. Some leftover vellum. It's not the same vellum as this one. It's a different vellum, but I might overlay that somehow with this honey pot and then add some of the glitter in there with that because that's super cute. Or maybe this one, I don't know. I have to play around with it and see what I feel like doing when the time comes. So anyway, yeah, those two are two that I'm gonna play around with and see what I can do. Because I love them. I think they're super cute. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the glitter that I used. This can be found, you can find this in lots of places. I think they sell it at Target and Michael's and Joann's, all sorts of places, and probably even on Amazon. So anyway, I'm gonna go sew these off and I'll be back. Okay, so I finished these up. These are sewn. Got the shaker card going in there. Got that in there. I'm gonna cut the bottom of this off so it's more even all the way around. Okay. And I'm just going to re-ink the bottom. Oy. There we go. And all I need to do with this one is add this charm, and it's all done. I really like this, the alternating of the straight stitch and the zigzag. It kind of just reminds me of like the busyness of bees, how they kind of fly back and forth and then straight, and then anyway, they're just kind of fun. And that has the shaker stuff inside, so that's kind of cool. This one is just about done. All it needs is this across the bottom and the bee. So that's easy enough. Just get my glue out. I'm using Fabri-Tac. Over the, oops, oof, over the top like that. Yeah, kind of like that, looks good. And I like it folded over the back. And again, I'm just gonna cut some of these little pieces so it's not quite so even. Kind of makes it a little bit more go. Just a little bit more uneven like that. Doesn't look quite so uniform. Okay. And then not sure that I need this over the edge like that. And this bee comes off really pretty easily, which doesn't make these for the best hair bands in the whole world, but kind of meets my needs for this tag. Okay, so that's that for that tag. That's pretty easy. And I'm gonna use the Fabri-Tac again because we're gluing this stuff over the fabric on here. So the only problem with this Fabri-Tac is it really does dry out really quick, so you have to keep the lid on it, even if you're using it continuously. All right. Okay, I like that, like that. And this just needs regular glue because it's just paper to paper. And that just overlaps this slightly, like that. And I think I'm gonna use this guy because that looks kind of pretty there. I'm just gonna put that like that, kind of offset. That looks pretty. Okay, so these are the 3 tags that we made in these videos, along with 2 slides, double-sided slides, and these are the original tags. So pretty close to the original tags. Pretty close. These are a lot flimsier tags. I like these because they're a little more, a little thicker, a little sturdier. And I also played around with these a little bit. These honey pots. This one was a total and complete disaster. It's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, I put glitter in there, but this stitch is just way too big for this. And yeah, it's too rounded. It's really hard to get a good stitch on here. So I consider that a failed experiment. I'll see if there's some way I can salvage that. This one, so I did this and I actually kind of like it, but I had difficulty getting the glitter out of the container when I made this one and this failed attempt. And so, you know, I was very aggressive in pouring the glitter, and I just put too much. So yeah, you can't even see that it has the honey pot underneath it. So, and I actually put I cut one of the bumblebees out of vellum and put it in there with it, but you know, you can't even tell because it's got way too much glitter. So I took this and I glued it to a honey pot. So I don't know. I'll stick it in there. I'll stick it in the folio. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. Yeah, I'll use them. But it's just kind of, I think it's just kind of funny. So I I did that. But you know, whatever, it is what it is. But these will be fun in here. So this is that. Oh, I still have to do the stamping for those. So I stamped this stamp in, I think it was just in some purple, archival ink. So I stamped this in the archival ink and I put it on, actually stamped it on some sticker paper so that it'd be super easy to, hopefully I didn't take anything important off of there, no. Okay, here we go. Okay, so with the original Folio, I had put some stamping here. I used this stamp set, and again, I don't know what this stamp set is, I apologize, but that's the little paid stamp that I did, that I used. I used this hand, that says, please note, and I'm gonna be stamping it onto some sticker, clear sticker paper. I had printed the collage sheet on the clear sticker paper, and it didn't, the first time I did it, it didn't go all the way through, so didn't print all the way edge to edge. So, no, I don't waste that. I just I stamp on it, and it's great for situations like this where I'm at the 11th hour and I really don't want to make a mistake and accidentally you know, smear this or somehow or another mess up the stamping. So I can stamp directly on the sticker paper. Okay, that turned out pretty good. Okay, good. And again, I'm just going to heat set it very quickly. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut this out. Normally you don't have to heat set archival ink, but because I'm doing it on sticker paper, and that is kind of a shiny surface, not at all a absorptive surface. It doesn't absorb the ink. It sometimes helps with those kinds of surfaces to heat set them. Okay. Great. And then in the interior, I used don't want to put the sticker portion over the stitching. So it's just why I'm trimming it slightly. I mean, it probably doesn't make any difference really, but just didn't want to. Okay, so here we go. Here's the folio filled with fun stuff. Put that in here. Oops, I'll put this one in this one. And put this one here. And so there we go. We got our filled folio. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, gave you some ideas on things to do with this gorgeous kit that Cara put together. I will put a link to her kit down below, as well as a link to the walkthrough of the original folio and all of the tags and whatnot, as well as the first 3 process videos for how to make this folio. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel so I know that you want to see more like this. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Denise with Paper Crafty, and craft on.